What's going on, everybody? I appreciate those of you that were waiting for the stream to start. For those of you stopping by watching the replay, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. So we're doing these live chats. You can take part in them. So obviously we have a special guest, very dear friend of mine from the channel, self-titled as his name, Justin Copeland. We're going to be talking fragrance pickups that kind of inspire us and make us want to gravitate to them. More interesting scent profiles. Now, this might be a multitude of different things. I don't know what Justin picked, but it could be anything from designer niche, indie, stuff that was sent to us, stuff that we purchased. There's a little bit of everything. He has no idea what 5. I actually have an honorable mention. I'm kind of cheating. I have 6. So I'm not sure what he's bringing to the table, but knowing him, I'm sure it's going to be something that you guys really should get your nose on. And speaking of things you should get your nose on that we'll both agree upon with this, my scent of the day, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givrée. So you can't go wrong here, guys. Beautiful citron, lemon, grapefruit kind of citric smell, a little earthy tone to the woody notes. Even though they listed as woody notes, it's clearly the same vetiver that they use across the line. It ties it to the DNA. Average, slightly better than average performer on my skin, kind of 7-hour range in longevity. But a summer staple at this point. As far as designer fresh fragrances are concerned, this is one of the best to come out in years. I put this in the kind of folklore of something like the Dior Homme Cologne scent profile. That's kind of, I think, the status it'll get long term. Ice cold lemonade, kind of similar, but with more woody nuances is how you can look at this one. So that's my scent of the day. Let's see, put in the chat what you guys are wearing and definitely hit that thumbs up on your way in. But let's bring in the man of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin Copeland. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. How you doing?
I can't complain. I felt it only right to wear one of our favorites today. I've been meaning to wear it. People have been mentioning it in the live chats. And I was like, I need to throw that in the rotation. And today seemed like the perfect time for it. What are you wearing today, my friend?
Nothing yet. I did a workout. I took a shower, and I'm usually pretty particular about what I decide to put on for the day. I don't really choose quickly. Sometimes it can be a little debilitating. I'll just think too hard, but nothing yet. But I have been not testing. I have just been experiencing one of the fragrances I'm going to talk about today on my hand and just enjoying that. So you could say I'm kind of wearing that right now, but not officially. But I'll reveal that later.
10-4 sounds like a plan. So obviously we'll give it a few minutes. I was telling Justin yesterday, the day before, when we talked on the phone, I'm sure you guys have noticed I've kind of adopted his 10-minute rule with his live streams. I feel like that's brilliant. It gives those that want to be here time to show up to the chat. The way the conversation or the topic doesn't go ahead and start rolling. And let's say you show up at 11 minutes in and you're like, damn, I'm late. They already started talking about it. This gives everybody an opportunity to get the notification if you're available to check it out, because I understand we're doing this 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. A lot of people are still at work. It's a Thursday, but I know those that really very much at least want to listen in podcast style. A lot of people do that with the live streams. Yep. I've noticed. Yeah. So let's take a few from the audience while we're hanging tight. What do you think?
Why not? Yeah.
So Boss Bottle Pacific getting ready for work. Speaking of, so I know he works nights most of the time. Big supporter of the channel, by the way. I don't know if the name looks familiar to you or not. I know he does watch you.
I know the picture looks familiar.
Steel Warrior, one of my recent giveaway winners. Which, speaking of, guys, channel members, the package comes in tomorrow. So for those of you that didn't know, this month's giveaway, it's going to be 3 o'clock Saturday member live stream. So all of the members will be notified. Even if you're not eligible for the giveaways, all channel members, even at the $5 tier, are welcome to come hang out with us on the live stream. But first prize giveaway for $9.99 and above tier, 100 ml of 1 million Royal. Second prize is, like I told you guys before, I'm keeping that a secret. You'll find out in the live stream what that bottle is going to be. And then the third prize spin is once again a mystery box this month. And then $25 tier and above, we've got the 125 ml of Percival that you guys voted on for me to pick up. And then the second spin, a 50 ml of the new formula of Manhattan from City Rhythm Fragrance. So $25 and above tier is eligible for 5 spins. So, and then the $10 tier is eligible for 3. So we try to mix it up and keep it fun here with the channel membership.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and jump on that TLTG channel membership and get a chance to win these bottles, man. Like, the price is low for those bottles.
I mean, At $25, you're eligible for 5 prizes. At $10, you're eligible for 3 different prizes. And if you win, I mean, $10, you got a bottle of 1 Million Royal. $10, you got a bottle of again. There's a mystery bottle this month. We're trying that for the first month, but there's always something cool to jump on with it. Let's take a few more comments while we're kind of hanging out, waiting on everybody to get here. We have 103 viewers currently with 45 likes. We can do better than that, guys. It's less than half.
Guys, use the half calorie. Click the button.
I don't even think it burns that much.
No, maybe not.
So actually, while we're waiting, I'm gonna do my honorable mention because this comment actually mentions it. The new Copper Still fragrance, Watermelon Shine. Let me adjust my focus real quick so you guys can see this better. So I wore it yesterday. I wore 7 sprays, which, believe it or not, for as airy and bright as it is, while still being a 50% concentration, it was just right at 7 sprays. We were out and about running around. Ended up not going to the beach, but this is a moonshine watermelon-based fragrance, Justin. Almost a candied like watermelon, a little bit of a dry, sweet corn mash rye type of smell to it with some Kentucky moonshine. This is a gorgeous fragrance. This is one that, like I said, kind of an honorable mention that I wanted to bring up because I would strongly advise you guys checking this one out. This was love at first sniff. We did a dedicated live stream to this week. And
I've never heard of this brand. They said Outlaw Fragrances?
No, so it's Copper Still Fragrances.
Oh, Copper Still.
Yeah, okay. So it says Outlaw Fragrance. Like that's kind of like the nickname for it is an Outlaw Fragrance because the other one was it's Copper Still 51. It's a Kentucky bourbon based fragrance, and it says cask strength fragrance instead of Outlaw Fragrance. So it's kind of like a different series maybe, or it's distilled differently. So they're based out of Kentucky, indie niche, high quality oils, same perfumer that made a lot of the City Rhythm fragrances, the first several.
Okay.
New Bottles Perfumes, I believe, is the company, the independent company that does the perfuming.
Cool.
Some good stuff, man. 50% concentration too. It lasts. It lasts and lasts. So that's my honorable mention. I just kind of wanted to throw that one in there because it's noteworthy. It absolutely is noteworthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's new to me, and watermelon is something you don't see all that often. And when I see it, my attention is had. I'm like, okay, let's see what it is. And usually I'm pretty let down because it's not always that noticeable or that prominent.
Usually it'll be more of a synthetic.
Yeah. I think that's to be expected, which is fine. But yeah, I don't think I have any fragrances that I would consider watermelon forward. I have a couple that it's tucked in there, but
there's one that maybe it just doesn't pop off of your skin the way it does on mine, but Mossy Into Me. I get a lot of watermelon and ginger.
Oh, okay. See, for me, I mostly get like melon, like a honeydew or something like that. And
I get a watermelon smell.
Okay. Yeah, to me, it doesn't really get like watermelon, but I'll have to try it again. It's been a minute.
Stream is now. Yes, it indeed streaming live right now, my friend. Gang's all here wearing Blue de Chanel Parfum. Can't go wrong there. And one more minute and we'll go ahead and get into the topic. I just figured now was a good time to throw my little honorable mention in there. Joe Profondo Lights. Good to see you, Scott. LeBeau from Jean-Paul Gaultier. I hope Custon will make an appearance.
It's got to be a real special circumstance for me to that's just
I just knowing Justin, I don't know if he could hold the character live.
No,
I don't think you can hold it long enough to do a live stream, even for 10 minutes. I just don't. It's different when you're recording segments by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. I mean, in those segments, 30 seconds, 30-second segments I record and I splice them together. So it's easy to just say the line and then, and come back from it. I could not do that sober. There's no way.
I would love to get Custon on a live stream if that's even possible. That would be incredible. Even if it's just for a quick cameo for a few minutes, just a pop in, pop out kind of thing.
That could be possible. We can talk.
hey, I won't let you forget that until you tell me no.
For sure.
I'll remind you until you shut it down. So let's get a few more. We're at the 10-minute mark. We'll go ahead and get it started. Lydia, good to see you. Ryan's wearing Lamal Elixir. Growing on him. So apparently not love at first sniff for him. Have you tried Lamal Elixir yet?
Elixir. Oh, the gold one. No,
Mm-hmm.
have not tried it yet. I
It's
think I almost picked it up, but I don't remember why I didn't.
I was so proud of them because you do smell Lamal.
Okay.
Because there's so many flankers. Like Sauvage Elixir is always my example with
Mm-hmm.
these elixirs. It doesn't smell like Sauvage. Like you got to really try to piece it into the line. You got to really look for it. Like, well, I kind of get this in the background. You got to make yourself tie it to Sauvage. Whereas this, it's clear. You get the mint, the lavender, the vanilla. It's all there at the top. But it is a vanilla bomb. There's a lot of spice, and it's absurdly powerful. It's for the designers. If you like sweet, it's one of the best releases of the year. For sure.
That's what I keep hearing.
Gotta like the sweet though. Gotta like the sweet. And it's not as screechy sweet as Ultra Male, because I know you have a bunch of experience with Ultra Male as far as that line's concerned. Mm-hmm. Not as youthful. Still very sweet, but not near as youthful. This is, if there's such a thing as a more adult sweet flanker, I guess, even though it's still sweet as sweet, it's not as youthful.
Yeah, sweet doesn't always have to be youthful. I totally agree. I have at least one fragrance here that I think executes that. So
with that said, would you like to go ahead and start us off? So guys, let me go ahead and preface before he jumps in. So the idea here, again, for those of you just joining, is that we each chose 5, which I kind of cheated with the honorable mention, which I just pinned Josh. He was the owner of Copper Still. 5 recent pickups. Again, it could have been something we bought, something that was sent to us, could be designer, could be niche, could be independent, that just really stands out among the rest. It's not necessarily a brand new release. It's just new to us. Mm-hmm. And ones that kind of get the stamp of approval from each of us that, if you're only going to sample a few things in the coming months, make sure it's some of these. Get your nose on it if you trust our opinions. We'll go ahead and start us off, my friend.
Yeah, well, obviously in the thumbnail of the live, you revealed a fragrance. So it's like, I have to.
I assumed it was going to be there. That's why I put that in the thumbnail. He didn't tell me, guys. I made an assumption based off of what I've heard him say about it.
Yeah, so I saw some people mentioning this. I think I saw someone said they just bought it. Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. This, I think, is the newest from the brand for the year. And I've not really been paying much attention to the brand in years, but I've been hearing good things. And my wife and I, we were in New York City back at the beginning of June. And on our last day there, we stopped in at Scent Bar is what it's called. I think it used to be Lucky Scent, but they changed the name or changed ownership. I'm not sure. Anyway, stopped in at Scent Bar for like 30 minutes, tried a bunch of stuff, and tried this. And both Grace and I were just like, whoa, wait a minute. What? She put it on her hand, and we, took the trip home, and all the way on the flight, gosh, what in the world is it? And I'm just like, this is beautiful. And now we got a little splash sample between us that was empty immediately. And so her birthday was last month, at the end of last month. And I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect gift. So I bought this. I went to a local perfumery here in Portland, who I know the owners there, and they're real nice and stuff. And I bought this for her. So yeah, those might be wondering. I bought this one. This was not sent to me. Goldfield and Banks doesn't know who the heck I am. But I bought the fragrance, and we're loving it. Now, you see a dent here. She has worn this a lot more than me. I've gotten maybe 2 wearings out of this, whereas she pretty much has been wearing this almost every day since we got the bottle. I'd say there's maybe 5 or 6 days since July the 27th that she has not worn this. So that's a lot of days. She's been wearing
that's 20. That's 20 plus.
Yes, she's been wearing it like crazy. So I've gotten very accustomed to the scent because every day I smell it on her. It's a beautiful scent, guys. I mean, you look at the notes, you look at the name, you can tell, okay, ginger. It's probably going to be bright, zingy. That's the word that's always paired with ginger, zingy. I say it all the time myself.
I use crisp a lot.
That's a great one too.
Yeah.
But the best way I can describe it in a way that hopefully you can associate it to something is imagine like a creamy sweet lemon cake that's kind of light and fluffy, and you drizzle ginger beer on top. That's what I get out of this. It is almost gourmand with its sweetness, with its creaminess. There's this ambery, musky, smooth base to it, but it is bright. It is spicy. It is crisp, as you would say, and it is pretty citrusy as well. But there is the sweetness of like vanilla and amber sweetens the citrus, and it makes it feel dessert like. And the ginger is just the face of it all. It's a beautiful scent. It's very uplifting. It's very attractive in the air. I think it's pretty unisex, but I could see how some might find it a little feminine, but just a little bit. There is some florals in the heart, which kind of softens it up and could make it feel a little soft to some guys. But I think it's perfectly unisex, especially during the daytime. Wearing this casually out in the sun, beautiful stuff. Gets great attention. Just smells super pleasant. Puts other people in a good mood when they smell it. So that's ingenious ginger. Good stuff.
So, anybody rushing out to get a sample yet? Because that definitely makes me want to get a sample. So, just throwing that out there. So, I kind of echo a similar sentiment with kind of the way you described it, the femininity of the scent profile, with what I'm going to choose here. Let me switch us around to where I'm here. Now, this is this made me fall in love with the brand to where I got a second fragrance from them. This was sent to me from a collaboration with somebody, Justin, you're very familiar with, Fragopedia House. Because I know you do collaborations with them from time to time as well. This is a brand called Paradis de Sins. So this is Eden. What's special to me about Eden is this ivy note. It's a fresh woody green fragrance with a nice citric facet at the top that's not sharp and acidic, but also not real creamy. It's a bright, watery, smooth citrus opening that if you look on places like Fragrantica and stuff, you'll see people comparing it to Elysium. I completely don't understand where they're coming from with that. But to each their own. If you smell Elysium, I mean, you smell Elysium. I definitely do not. I get, like I said, a smooth, watery citrus that starts to dry into not quite a petitgrain smell, but petitgrain's the fresh green note that I can think of to give the best example of for a non-herbaceous, non-spiced, fresh green smell. Kind of think in the same vein of how you would feel about a dominant petitgrain is kind of how I feel about this ivy leaf that they have here. It's not spicy in any way, not warm, just fresh and green, dries into a soft wood cedar-like feel that's not the typical sharp cedar. So you know they're using a pretty good cedar oil. This is lovely. Performance will last you most of your day. I'm not saying it's a 12+ hour fragrance, but easy 8 to 10 hours has kind of been my experience with this. And there's a soft floral feel to it, even though it's not dominated with florals. There's a soft floral feel to it in its heart. So that's what referring to how I opened this segment was the light feminine leaning tone, a little bit of femininity, though perfectly unisex. This is a great spot to start with the brand because it's unique but safe, I think is a good way to look at this one. Very unique. Okay. I don't have anything else that smells like this. Again, I don't know where people are coming from with Elysium. I just don't know how you could put them next to each other and say, oh, Elysium. I just don't get that. But you can get individual samples from Fragopedia House, and you can get discovery sets. And I would say this is a good spot to start. I've just started to dive. They have a lot of fragrances, and they have 2 different lines. The red bottles, it's its own line. I haven't tried any from that line yet. But this brand has kind of opened my eyes into, I guess, just a different side of some of these niche perfumes that, you know, not a super popular, well-known house, at least not to me. It's not something that gets a lot of press on the online fragrance community. So it's nice to kind of explore things like that. And that's why this was kind of a must of my 5. I really wanted to feature this one. Even though Bliss is phenomenal, it's more of a woodsy, earthy Tuscan leather type of fragrance, which is the other one I have from this brand. This is just so much more unique that I felt it deserved the spotlight. So, guys, if you want to try something uniquely fresh and green, super unisex, leaning feminine, try Paradis de Sins Eden. Very lovely fragrance.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that brand. I had not heard of them, and maybe they're a newer brand to the to their catalog, or at least in the past couple months, because I don't think I remember seeing that brand, but it's been a few months since I last looked. But that sounds good. Sounds like super versatile, super wearable, and
Indeed.
but as you said, different, which is
that's typically my jam. If you can be mega versatile, like if I can see myself wearing you for anything, you're immediately going to get in the upper echelon of my collection. Because I don't necessarily like to think about it all the time, because 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty casual, but in the event something changes about my day and it's going to be a little bit more upscale going into the evening, I might not necessarily want to switch with my scent profile for the day. And I like something that's versatile enough to flip flop around if I needed to.
Yep.
I put a lot of stock into stuff like that.
I totally get that. Yeah.
So what do you have for us next?
Next, this is an interesting one. Wow. Oman Luxury. I've been getting into this house over the past few months. I have 3 fragrances from them. All 3 are awesome. This one is one of the newer ones. Max Aroma sent it over to me about a month ago. This is called Oud Aquilaria. So,
I like the name.
Yeah, and Aquilaria is something. I can't remember. It's something very particular. It's like maybe even like an accord of some kind. I remember reading the word elsewhere, and I don't remember what it was saying. But nonetheless, the fragrance was perfumed by Dominique Ropion. And it's known to resemble a fragrance from Frederick Malle called Promise, which he also perfumed. So it's another one of these cases where some brands like, hey, we heard you did that. Can you do it for us too? You see it all the time. You see it. Killian approach Alberto Maria's, hey, can you remake Gucci Guilty Absolute under the guise of Dark Lord? Or approaching Quentin Biche, from Essential Parfum, hey, can you make Bois Imperial like you did with Ganymede? You see it all the time. And it's fair game. And I have no problem with that, because it's the same perfumer. You can't copy yourself. So it's like they put a new twist on it. That's cool. I'm all fine with that. It's just kind of funny. Nonetheless, this is kind of a candied, fruity oud. Tons of apple, sweet, crisp apple. And I think it's made even more crisp with pink pepper. The spiciness of that pink pepper just kicks this apple. I love it a whole lot more on skin than I do on paper. I'm liking it here. On paper, though, it literally can smell like a Jolly Rancher, or it might even smell like an Otter Pop or something like that. For those of you guys who grew up before, in the year 2000 or earlier, maybe you didn't have any Otter Pops growing up. That's okay. But on paper, you might get that vibe, and it's like not unpleasant, but just okay, it's odd. But on skin, you get the depth of the scent. There's a ton of rose in the heart. A lot of oud, some amber, patchouli. It gets a little darker and earthier on the skin, but it is pretty aromatic and sweet fruity, but with this darkness behind it, and it's quite powerful. The other night, I'd say I wore this maybe 2 nights ago to a gig, and I just put on 2 sprays because it was a little warm, but it was an outdoor gig, so I knew I was going to have some, some wind and stuff. But I just wanted to play it safe because it was actually my first wearing out of the house, and I was smelling it all night.
You got to be a little bit more sparing the first time.
Yeah, and it was incredible. It was beautiful. 2 sprays was enough. So as it cools down, I know I can probably put on maybe 3 or 4 if I'm going to be outdoors. But I would say it's pretty elegant. But this is the sweet fragrance I was referring to. It's very sweet, but it's not juvenile by any means at all. It's pretty dark. It's very interesting. It's beautiful, but it can be a lot. So you've been warned. But I love it. So I can't wait to wear more of that into the fall.
But a fruity, candy, sweet oud, that has my attention. That sounds like something I would enjoy. So Joakim was letting us know that Aquilaria, however you say it, is apparently a tree.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's letting us know.
Cool. Maybe it's one of the trees that oud can come from?
I don't know. It's very possible.
Yeah.
We would have to explore a little further.
Yes,
But
indeed.
let's see. What would I like to reach for next? I think this is one that I don't know if you've tried this one. So you're the one that's turned me on to this line in the first place. But I don't know if you've tried the newest release from Brioni, Essential. Have you tried this one?
No, is it a green one?
That's the green bottle, yeah.
Okay, no, I haven't tried
So
it yet.
Fragrance Buys had it. As soon as they restocked it, I had the alert turned on. They emailed me. I bought it immediately. I was pulling up to Chipotle.
Yes.
And I literally got my parking spot and ordered before I got out my car.
Wow.
So what I appreciate about this one is they still managed to retain that classy professional elegance that's ran across the range. Okay. But there's a different freshness here. Obviously, it's a much more green fragrance with cardamom, and the cardamom's not a real warm and spicy cardamom. If anything, it offers more of that kind of minty, fresh pop that cardamom can sometimes bring to a fragrance. And the tomato leaf offers that vegetal fresh feel that kind of you would get in, say, a Valentino Uomo Aqua, for example, because I know you're familiar with that one. Think of that minus the soapy iris, like that specific vegetal green freshness.
Okay.
You get a denser hit of it here. And I think the cardamom only intensifies it because it's not really super spicy and it's not warming at all either. And it's also not a bitter cardamom either because certain cardamoms can come across very bitter. But that definitely dominates this fragrance. It does get a little woodsy as it dries. Not really all that musky as compared to the others in the line, but the dry down's fantastic here. And like I said, the cardamom stands out, but doesn't warm the fragrance up. And I think that warming it up would have been a detriment to the way the scent profile turned out for what, based on what the final product smells like, I think would have changed it greatly if it was a warmer fragrance. It's surprisingly fresher than I thought it was going to be going into it. I thought much more warm, spicy, and green. Because if you look at note pyramids and stuff like that, you're thinking it's going to be a very earthy, patchouli, cardamom, tomato leaf, all these different things. Earthy, sure, but fresh earthy. And I can really appreciate that. It's different. There's an elegance here. It's got a seriousness, as with all of the Brioni fragrances. I mean, they make men's suits. You expect it to go well with a suit across the range. That has not changed. Like I said, the classy, elegant nature of the range is still very prevalent in this fragrance, but they managed to twist it again. I think the possibilities for this line are endless. Now that we've had 4 renditions, I just love the range that they have with this scent profile and where they've been able to take it so far. I look forward to the 5th installment, but Justin, take it from a guy who you turned on to the Eau de Parfum and the Eclat Flanker. Let me turn you on to the Essential, the newest one. You need to get your nose on this one. Obviously, the rest of you watching, I would strongly encourage you. I don't know how to get a sample. I don't know how easy it would be, but this is definitely sample worthy. If you like anything about any of the other 3, now granted, the Intense is probably, if I had to pick one that has a little bit of a challenge, it would be that. But as you know, the dry down's magic with that one. The opening can be a little bit of a, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But the dry down becomes magic. And then the other 2 are just so easy to wear. The Eau de Parfum is kind of a fruity reimagining of Fahrenheit, the clean, musky citrus for the Eclat. Very easy to wear fragrances. And I think they managed to move that ease of wear into here with something that's a bit more on the unique side.
Nice.
And I would strongly encourage everybody to check this out. This is one of the best designer lines to come out in years. Brioni is absolutely killing it.
I agree with that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that one. I need to try it.
But it's like $78 or something like that.
Yeah, they're all around that range, and especially that being the newest one.
That came out this year.
Price for that. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, I need to try that one. Yeah, one of the best collections for sure. In terms of just, not just trying to mishmash all the stuff that works into mass appealing scents, and there's quality through and through. There is definitiveness. They're not really redundant to own. If you have the whole collection, they're all kind of different from each other. So I think it's a killer line.
If I had to kind of label them, because they don't come, even though they're using synthetics, they're using ambroxan and such.
Yeah.
I still would put them, for designers, especially for the money you can get them for. I actually put them on par with a lot of Parfums de Marly's releases, honestly. I really do. Like, it's impressive what you can get under $100 from discounters with this brand. So I say I'm here for everything they want to do with this line. I'm going to blind buy everything. They've proven it to me 4 out of 4 times that they know what they're doing and they have a clear path and vision for this. And I'm here for whatever they want to do. And I'm sure they're going to be at minimum very good every time.
Yeah, agreed. I'll have to put what's it called?
Essential with an E at the end. Essential, I-E-L, not I-A-L. Yeah, Essential.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that on the list. Good stuff.
Volcanus with the $10 super chat. As always, the king of the super chat. I appreciate you, sir. This man does not miss when it comes to channel donations. Salute Ross, indeed. Justin, and chat. Prada La Rosa Ocean. Eau de Toilette is his sin of the day. We sure appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the support.
Yes, indeed.
Legend has it, if you say George Zaharoff 3 times, he shows up, kind of like that Beetlejuice guy. He very well could be watching. He does know we're doing this. He's more than welcome to make his presence known, but we're going to keep it on topic for a little while. If he's here, he can jump on it then if he wants. But yeah, we're gonna keep it pushing. Thoughts on Boston? We'll take some questions at the end, guys. Justin, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and get into that next one. I'm super curious what else you have.
Yeah, man. Likewise. This next one up is one that I was sleeping on since I got into fragrances. I heard about it immediately. People were just like, this is such a unique masterpiece. It's incredible, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, I don't know if it was discontinued. I think it was just reformulated and then reformulated again. And now people are like, oh, it sucks now. So I got a bottle of the one that apparently sucks, but I dig it. This is actually not the newest formulation. This is like the one in between. This is Guerlain, L'Instant de Guerlain. This is the Eau de Toilette. And I remember, when I got into the community, people are like, oh my gosh, Guerlain. They were just going off. And I kept hearing that, this is like, it's like a chocolatey, earthy, fresh scent. And I'm like, okay, that's really different. So I finally got my nose on it. And again, I haven't smelled the original formulations. I've already put this in a video or two. I've had people come in the comments saying, that bottle is trash. Like, you don't even know. You don't know what it used to be. That's a shadow. And I'm like, I don't care. What do you think about that?
Ditto.
So it smells fantastic. I think what people are complaining about is that it's not as rich as it once was. That's what happens a lot of the time. Plus, it's an eau de toilette. I believe there is an eau de parfum version, which is, I'm pretty sure, richer than that. So if you want that, then go for that. But I think this functions perfectly as an eau de toilette version of this scent profile. This is indeed kind of a warm, spicy, dusty, chocolatey, earthy patchouli scent with a little bit of a freshness. This kind of brightness. There's some bergamot in there. There's some like maybe some lemon and black pepper, some other brighter elements that kind of give it some pop and give it some transparency. So it's not just this cloud of just dark, earthy dampness. The cacao is what's giving it the chocolatey feel. Patchouli can do that too, but the cacao is really giving it the texture of it as well. It is kind of dusty and dry in a way. So it doesn't necessarily, to me, smell gourmand. It does not smell edible. And I love that about it. It smells like just a classy dude in a dark suit at work. Whatever it is that you do for work, you're successful. It's a classy scent. I could see it at night. I got to try the EDP. I would imagine EDP might be a little bit better for the evening time. Just the vibe of it, but the freshness of this, the transparency makes it, I think, maybe more versatile than it once was because it's not super heavy. It's not super long lasting. I've worn it one time and it was maybe 2 weeks ago. Grace and I went to dinner, had a beautiful dinner date and sat out on the patio. And I think I did 4 or 5 sprays with it, smelling it the whole time. We were only out for maybe 3.5, 4 hours. I got home, I could still kind of smell it, but not very strongly. But that's all I needed it for. It was a perfectly functioning scent. I was smelling classy and unique all night long, but not in an overwhelming way. She liked it. She didn't smell it from like across the table, which is totally fine. But when we're next to each other, she was like, "Oh yeah, it smells really different, really
That's
nice."
what you really want on a date. You want when they get in close, the intimate setting, sure, but
Yes.
apart, you
Yeah.
don't want it to aggravate.
Yeah, because and some people do. That's what I don't get. It's like you want people to be cutting their lobster, smelling your fragrance. Why?
Look, if you're out fishing for women, I get you want that little something extra. You're trying everything. I get it. But when you're settled down like the two of us are, no, with 4 or 5 hours, we're not going to be on dates for 10 hours. We're not hitting the clubs.
Yes,
It's intimate
exactly.
settings, something she's going to enjoy to wear that's there for discovery when she gets close. That's the
That's right.
ideal for
That's
our
right.
lives anyways. That's ideal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I dig it. I think it lives up to the hype, so to speak. I see why people love the scent profile, while people have been raving about it for years. Again, I am fortunate enough to not have tried the original version and not have my opinion of it tainted and tarnished by
Be jaded
it's a
by the new
shadow.
one.
Yes. So I love it. Good stuff.
Sometimes it works out for the better because the way I look at it is I understand if you've tried the original version and let's say you're 100% justified and accurate with your opinion. Oh, it's a shell of its former self and all that. If let's use Justin's example, if he gets it and he enjoys it, what the hell does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
it's totally functional for what he wants to wear it for, he enjoys the aroma, and on top of that, his significant other enjoys the aroma. Mission accomplished, money well spent.
Yep.
So,
There you go.
and with that said, let's go ahead and move into my next one,
Yes.
shall we?
What you got? What you
So
got?
this is a brand new release. This was sent to me by Twisted Lily. I am super excited to talk about this one because it is so different. You have to like saffron
Mm.
and aldehydes for Wilhelm Parfumery Faces of Francis.
Okay.
Oh my, is this amazing?
You
It
said what in
manages
aldehydes?
saffron.
Saffron. Okay.
It's a warm, spicy, saffron dominant hit with bright, fizzy aldehydes. Probably the best aldehyde note I
Wow.
have in this wall of fragrances.
Yeah. Oh
It
man.
manages to have a little bit of a milky lactonic feel that I don't know outside of the grilled pistachio accord what to attribute this to. Because as it dries, it does become more about the pistachio. It gets much creamier, but it manages to be very metallic. It's warm and metallic. It's an
Hmm.
odd one, but it's so unique to the point. And I have two fragrances that really fit. Actually, 4 out of the 5 fit this category of just different, unique, but not challenging and extremely versatile.
Hmm.
This falls into because the previous two I talked about, I would consider those that way. I have another one after this that I would consider that way also. Guys, you see my taste here. I want to smell different, but not crazy challenging. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's what you get here. Now, for some, this may be challenging and off putting, but for those that are into this as a hobby and are looking, yearning for a new scent profile that literally I can't relate it to anything. I can try 10 ways to Sunday. I can't come up with something that this is even kind of similar to. I think this is a phenomenal release from them. I hope this gets the spotlight it deserves. You can get a sample for $5, I believe, either 5
Okay.
or $10 before any codes or anything, just from Twisted Lily. And this is absolutely an olfactive experience to have. I know I'm not the only one that's talking about this right now.
Mm.
Um, Justin, you need to experience this. I don't know when the next time I'm going to see you is. I don't know if you'll have tried it before I see you again, but if you haven't, I need to remember to ask you. So if there's one fragrance I need to bring for you to try next time I see you, it's this. That's how strongly
Wow.
I feel about this fragrance.
Wow.
This is
Yeah. I
one
mean,
of the best releases, most unique but wearable releases of 2023, in my opinion.
wow. Yeah. I love the idea of of a fragrance with a personality, with particular elements that are truly upfront. Like when you said saffron and aldehydes, I'm
That's the
like,
top.
have I ever smelled a fragrance with those two notes as key ingredients together? Like, no.
Then dry into grilled pistachio and a variety of woods.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. It's very woodsy. So it starts off fiery, hot, and fresh. Hot warm spice with bright aldehydes. It's such an odd but amazing combination. Metallic, very metallic from the start. A little lactonic, starts to settle into more of a creamy facet, very woodsy dominant. And there's oud in here, but I never get any oud smell. Like there's no funk of any kind to the oud. If anything, it just adheres to the enhanced woody nature of the dry down of this fragrance. Performance, very long lasting. Sillage is on the heavier side, though it doesn't really, so far in my experience, seem to scream and fill a room. It's a pretty lingering type of sillage where it really hangs in the air. According to my wife, the trail is pretty stout with this one. And it's just so unique. It hits on I guess all cylinders would be a way to look at it. Whereas it's got this inherent freshness and it's not overly dense for the heat. Cause I mean, I'm in super high humidity. That's what I've been wearing it in. And it's also got a lot going on as far as character and performance and enough density to where come wintertime, this is probably going to knife through the cold better than a lot of other fragrances that have this type of freshness. So I think it's very, very impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds unlike anything I've tried. I'm curious. I'm intrigued.
You saw how quick I got excited when it was time to talk about that one?
Yes. Yes. You went trigger happy on that one.
Like, it's amazing. It deserves the excitement from me, for sure.
I believe it, man. I believe it. Wow. Yeah. My interest is had. Okay.
So if you had to get excited about one, is there another one to get you on par with the level of excitement that you just experienced?
These last two are awesome. This next one up. Oh, man. I distinctly remember smelling this fragrance.
I hate to interrupt you, but he brought up a good point. Shame on me. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who didn't know, congratulations. Justin Copeland got his Instagram page back. Round of applause. 7 years of hard work and 55,000 followers later. Thank God he got that hard work back. It was taken for no reason.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt you. I saw Eddie's comment. And I was like,
good.
You know what? Yes, we need to talk about this real quick.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. It's good to have it back. It was a weird little purgatory, but here we are. I distinctly remember smelling this fragrance maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Just one time at a Sephora when it was still on shelves. I don't believe it's on shelves anymore. And I found it deplorable. I was like, wow, this is disgusting. Now, granted, I found many things deplorable at that time. I'll list off a few. Ted Hermes, Dior Homme.
That was me.
Tom Ford Black Orchid, Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Like there was just hallmarks in the not discontinued, but in just this kind of less mainstream world of designer fragrances that I couldn't handle them because I was brand new. So when I saw the opportunity to get this come up,
those are in the no fragrances that you were just talking about.
Yes. This fragrance popped up on Fragrance Buy, and I was able to choose a few to get, as you know. And I was like, can I get this one? Is it discontinued? I understand if you guys don't have a lot of stock. And they're like, no, we can send it. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So they sent it over. This is Hermes Voyage d'Hermes Parfum.
You talked about this one in the last few days.
Yeah, I think I put it in a short video. Yeah. Weirdest bottle ever. Like one of those little carnival rides. Whatever. I still don't quite get it. There must be a story behind it. There always is with Hermes, but it's cool. It's very unique. Nonetheless, this fragrance, oh man. Gosh, this this might be another one of those instances, not overtly, where you have a perfumer who creates a fragrance for a brand and then another brand says, hey, what you think? Let's talk, I don't know. It's not exact, but they are connected. Jean-Claude Elena is the perfumer behind this. To me, this resembles Declaration a little bit from Cartier. which he also perfumed, I think in like 98 is when that came out. This came out in 2012. Okay. It's similar. If I could tie it to anything, they both have a prominent cardamom. They both have a prominent citrus and spices and woods. And that kind of makes up what Declaration is. There's a little bit more going on in there. Declaration is one of my favorite fragrances. Just
that's what I wanted
one of my
to
favorite
say.
designers.
That's immediately why you like this fragrance, because you're a Declaration guy.
Yeah, I sure am. And I think it's a timeless scent profile. There's a reason why Cartier is still selling it. It's, I think, one of their best sellers. It's a fantastic scent. Nonetheless, similar, but not exactly the same. To me, if I were to use if I use Declaration as a foundation point for describing this scent, it is spicy, it's citrusy, it is fresh aromatic, it's woody, but it's very green. There's a sharp green quality, almost, if you can imagine, olive, like a dark olive green. That is the green I get here. It's a darker,
almost like an oily type of feel to it, like a richness.
Not really in terms of,
because that's what I think of with olive, the texture of it.
It's hard to describe. It's more of, if you can judge fragrances on brightness versus darkness kind of thing. If you can think of like all these different planes of which you can affect a fragrance's features, like you go up and down for brightness and dark, you go left to right for like rough and smooth, and diagonal for this and that, whatever it may be. If you have all these different ones, I kind of see it in terms of darkness. A lot of times green can be attributed to like, oh, like fresh green grass or fresh green leaves, or like dew on in the morning, or whatever it may be. There is,
I got two examples of it, different levels of green fresh without a lot of spice. This one's got spice, but the other one didn't have any spice.
This is a little darker. It doesn't remind me of like a fresh spring morning type of green. It is darker. There is some tea in here as well. It gets a little musky, woody on the skin. But primarily it's like green spice, dark green spice, but still fresh. It's beautiful. It's very classy. Now it is, let me see, they call it parfum. They say it's a pure perfume. I don't know if that's going to come up. It's not focusing.
Even but it with says the blur, I can see where it says
pure parfum. It says pure perfume. Now I will say two things about that. Number one, at least the 2 or 3 times I've worn it, it did not perform the way I expected it to. But at the same time, the second thing I'll say is I then realized, like, okay, yeah, this is, I should not have been terribly surprised, because I assumed, as most people would on the surface, when you see pure perfume, or you see, you know, the parfum version of something, like, oh, this is going to be very potent. It'll be very noticeable. It'll be thick and rich, and I'll be able to detect it. Not so much. I think I was doing 5-6 sprays of this, you know, like that could be a little bit risky with a fragrance this concentrated, but I'm like, hey, let's just give it a shot. It's a mostly fresh profile, so should be okay. And I was finding it sitting pretty close. After maybe 2-3 hours, I was like, I'm not really smelling it that much anymore. I would put it on my hand, I would put it in my shirt, and I could still smell it there after 5-6 hours, but the sillage was not really there, at least for me, or at least I wasn't detecting it. But that's just yet again a testament to how you can't really let concentration dictate how you think it'll perform, because the two are not always related. It's a vibe. The vibe here is that it is kind of a heavier, darker freshness, more so than a loud, projecting beast mode fragrance. You don't need a parfum concentration to get that. You can do that with an eau de toilette and get a beast mode, just high pumping fragrance. But this is not that. This sits close to the skin. It moves slow. I would wear it day or night. I would wear it pretty much year round, maybe not dead of winter, but I think it does well with some heat. I think that'll help it actually come to life a little bit more. So I dig it. It's good stuff.
All I've been thinking while you were talking about the way it wears is Atelier
Mm-hmm.
cologne.
Okay.
Because they're pure
Yeah.
parfums, they're naturals, 90+%, all of them natural ingredients, and it's a heavier wear for mostly citrus dominant, fresher fragrances. It's a heavy freshness, like you were saying. Like I
Yes.
feel like this could have went in with that brand. Very much the way you described it. You described a lot of Atelier colognes.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They're very natural scents. They are primarily citrus based, and citruses are some of the most volatile ingredients. No matter
Mm-hmm.
how much you dump in there, they will evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And then, needs heat to really get it off the
Yes.
skin. Like everything you
Yes.
described
Yeah.
was Atelier. And so I feel like that fragrance could fall in line with some of their offerings just based on the scent profile and the wearing experience. Maybe not so
Hmm.
much the scent profile because it sounds a bit more complex.
It feels like an Hermes. It
Yeah.
really does feel like Hermes. Like if you smell Hermes or any of the flankers, that's Jean-Claude Atlanta's work. Aside from the newest ones, you can tell like, okay, yeah, this has that Hermes DNA for sure.
Randy, if you don't mind, if you scroll back, Justin's first one he talked about was Ingenious Ginger. Actually, that was what we started the topic off with.
Yep.
If you don't mind, because I don't want to make him recap. We kind of hitting the ground running. We're almost done actually, and then we'll take some comments and questions from everybody here at the end. So
Indeed,
I've got
indeed,
2 left, which I believe means you have 1 left, right?
indeed.
Indeed. All right. So let me jump into my next one. So, like I was saying, 4 of my 5 actually fall into that different yet super versatile category that I'm just a sucker for. And the newest release from Kajal Perfumes falls into that. This is called Masa. So,
Mm.
Masa is another one of those oddly fresh green fragrances. So, let me adjust the focus here and we'll take a closer look at this gorgeous presentation with these
Wow. Yeah, they
sapphires
are
and emeralds.
stunning.
Yeah, it's magic the way Mo does his work for sure. So the scent profile matches as such. So it kind of melds what I would believe to be 2 different scent profile styles completely because it has
Mm.
a noted aquatic note,
Okay.
fresh, green, and spicy, but also earthy, green, and woodsy.
Hmm.
It's a variety. It's almost like 2, at minimum 2, possibly 3 different styles made into one composition. It doesn't smell like anything else, but it's a very easy wear. This is not a youthful scent. It reminds me very much of something for someone that's business professional, a little money to spend, 30 years and older. Is how this speaks to me. This is, in my opinion, the most versatile because let me paint a picture for you. I don't know how familiar you are with Kajal Ferris. Have you tried that one?
No, have not.
Okay,
Not at
so
all.
everybody's been touting it as basically niche sauvage because the way the lavender comes across, it's a spicy
Hmm.
aromatic. It kind of smells like it could be niche sauvage. Like I get where people are coming from with it. If that's the
Hmm.
youthful everyday wear from the house, this is the more mature everyday wear from the house. This
Okay.
I put up there with Lamar for best of house because of the versatility. So Lamar is a very unique fruity marigold rose fragrance, masculine floral. It's very unique. That's why it gets praise well beyond just me. Whereas with this, because it's so strange and it just when you look at the notes and the accords, you would think maybe it might not work because it's like I said, a multitude of styles combined into one composition. The balancing act done here. The perfumer actually messaged me. Shame on me, I forgot his name. He reached out. He saw my initial impressions of it and reached out to thank me for the kind words. He reached out to me on Instagram.
Cool.
It's just because it's such a unique composition. Like I keep going back to unique composition, and as someone that loves this as a hobby and passion, I can't even begin to describe just how much I appreciate something like this because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about wearability, the flip
Hmm.
flopping throughout the day of different things that may be going on through the day, and I don't necessarily want to switch fragrances. This is perfect for that. I got to spray it.
Mm-hmm.
Very woodsy, again, fresh and green spiced, earthy and woody with a water accord, an actual aquatic note, freshwater accord to this fragrance.
So not
It's
salty
not
and
salty at all,
marine like.
not
Okay.
marine. a
Okay.
freshwater accord. I don't know if you remember when I had you smell Fougere's Marine from Montal.
Yes.
Picture that, but a lot deeper. A lot deeper. It doesn't necessarily smell like Tommy, but it can kind of go in the vein of what
Okay.
Tommy is.
Okay.
You would
Yeah.
very much enjoy this. Speaking of, you would very much enjoy this. This is a much more complex fragrance than both of those. But the reason I bring that up as an example is because it has that freshwater accord that takes that dark, rich, spicy, earthy oak moss and freshens it up to make it smell like Tommy. Because without that freshwater accord, it probably wouldn't have really smelled like Tommy. It'd been too dark and earthy. Kind of the same things going on here. I think that freshwater accord freshened this up to the point of creating something oddly unique and special. Very special. And performance, as anybody with experience with Kajal would expect, it's there till you scrub it off. It's not going to fill the room, but everybody's going to smell you, even moderately spraying this one. But this is for the guy that wants to spend a little money to not smell like everybody else, but doesn't want something that's, tobacco, heavily boozed, ouds, doesn't want these more, I guess kind of off the wall notes that the average guy wearing a fragrance is going to be interested in. Most guys just want something fresh, clean, but maybe a little different from typical fresh, clean. Whereas this isn't so much clean, but this is very different. I go back to unique and special, and based on your taste, you would probably thoroughly enjoy this one. Where I got super excited just of how odd this is, I think this suits your taste more than that. That's definitely two I would encourage you to try. And anybody watching this, you guys have heard me talk about this one a few times, that I think this is the best release they've put out in years since Lamar. And they've had a few releases since Lamar, but this is slowly becoming best of house for me. And I think every man here that wants something out of the norm, but not a challenging wear, should try. This is Kajal Masa.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I remember seeing all their promotion on Instagram right before it launched, and I was like, man, what the heck?
They put out some beautiful. So there's an Italian company that handles a lot of their posts as well as Zaharoff's posts. That's why they have these beautiful posts for these pictures. So that's when it comes time to release a fragrance or take beautiful artwork, they definitely know what they're doing. Yeah,
it sounds like a beautiful scent. Yeah, once again, unique but wearable. Not always an easy. Yeah, what's up?
Got one from Randy for you about Ingenious Ginger. He's loving it, by the way. He said you're the reason he bought it. He just did a recent review on it. Yeah,
awesome. Randy, I'm so glad you dig it. Yeah, it's great. It's different. It's delicious. It's super versatile, and I love it. But it's specific. It has a personality, which I love about it. Okay, what is this?
So I think he's talking about Masa.
Okay, man, I need to try me some of that.
Yeah, because I really wanted to. I'm glad you chose the ones you chose, because it really goes with the theme of these are interesting. These aren't cookie cutter fragrances. Nothing here is cookie cutter.
That's right. Yeah.
So for your last one, what do you have for us? I'm very curious.
Yes. Well, I don't have a ton of negative reviews on my channel. I can think of, like, in terms of videos that are dedicated to at least one fragrance where I'm saying, I don't like this. I can think of 2 or 3 videos like this. This fragrance was the subject of the first one I ever did like that. And this was 2016. 7 years ago. Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time. And it was genuine. I mean, I tried it at the time. I went to Sephora. I actually put it on paper. I found it okay. I brought home a sample, and then I tried it on skin. I was like, I hate this. I need to film a video on it. And I watched that video now.
Cred. Let me go shit on a fragrance. Get some street cred.
Yeah. I was like, I need people to know that I'm honest out here. But nonetheless, I did that video. I look back on it now, and it's just a laughable video. I even had my cat smell it in the video, and she literally leapt away.
Now I know what fragrance we're going with.
Yes, you probably know.
Yeah, now I know.
So I'll just reveal it now. This is from Tom Ford. and it's the original Noir, the Eau de Parfum.
I actually
Guys,
love that fragrance. I've had it for a few years.
okay. Yeah, man.
I'm curious.
I
Hit me.
hated it when I first smelled it. It just smelled like bitter, dying roses to me when I first tried it. I don't know what the heck I was smelling before because, well, I can kind of get what I got before. Like, if I really just look for that, I'm like, okay, I can see where past Justin was smelling, but there's just more. I just didn't go deep enough or something, or I just couldn't, taste change. But to me, this fragrance is, man, it is, it's soft. It's kind of like gothic. It's kind of,
That's a good
um
word.
mysterious in a way, but still, still masculine, I would say, but not stereotypically. This is kind of a confident but quiet personality, so it's not someone who needs to be noticed, but if people do notice you, you're probably going to smell like nothing they've ever smelled
The
before,
most interesting man in the room.
so to speak. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I do get rose, I do get this kind of soft powdery iris. There's this warm musky ambery feel and lots of patchouli in the base. That was, again, very bitter to me at first, but it is mostly damp, earthy, dark, maybe even a touch of a tiny little bit of chocolate, but very subtle. There's even a little bit of this, there's a vintage feel to me in this fragrance. There's something that does smell a little old world, a little throwback. There's one fragrance in particular that I have from Guerlain called Habit Rouge.
Which I've
And
tried with you. Yeah.
yes,
That
and
was phenomenal, by the way. I still need to get a bottle. That
yes,
was my
Habit,
favorite in that video we did. That was actually my favorite.
I remember, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Habit Rouge is, if you take what I talked about here, but mostly like mostly the rose and the citrus, and you just put it on steroids, that's kind of what you get out of Habit Rouge. And there's a lot more going on, of course. But that's like with this, it's just toned down to like a 4 out of 10 in terms of just like presence. And, I think I think the packaging is perfect. I would wear this at night. I would wear it not in the heat.
Mm-mm.
Um, I would, yeah, I'm going to save this for the fall to really
Mm-mm.
kind of wear it out. When I do wear it, I'm not going to spray it more than 4 times. Even though it's not terribly strong, I just think that only smelling
It
this,
might be too much. Yeah.
it's obnoxious. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why would I don't even want to I don't even want to only smell this fragrance when I'm wearing it.
That's a less is
In,
more fragrance for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
it kind of goes, when it comes in and out, that's when it's best, when you just get those wafts. So I think it's lovely stuff. It is discontinued. I understand why, but it is still out there. I got this bottle from Max Aroma.
Mm-hmm.
That I was actually surprised that they had it. So I'm loving me some Tom Ford, and I love coming back. I've come back to so many fragrances that I once hated, and I love them now. And that's just the name of the game. When you're in it for a few years, you start coming back around to stuff,
Terre
and you realize,
d'Hermes.
man, yeah, exactly.
I
And
could not stand it.
yeah, I neither could I.
Now
And
the first one I bought that's not this is the O Intense Vetiver. The one that I thought was the most challenging I bought first.
that one is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the biggest indicator that it's not the fragrances that change. Sometimes they're reformulated, but not every time. If you smell something, you hate it, you come back 3 years later, you love it, the fragrance didn't change, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was always there. It was like, hey, I'm ready for you when you're ready. But you weren't ready before, but now you're ready. And sometimes you just need time. So you keep sniffing stuff, you'll be surprised at how your taste will change.
We are the only variable.
That's true.
So it's funny that you said it. So let me throw a descriptor at you and see what your thoughts are. So it's clearly very iris, rose, patchouli dominant. So when I first got my bottle, Steve, Kingdom Fragrances, sent me a bottle. When he first started the company, he had sent me a bottle of that back when I lived in Texas. That's how long ago.
Okay. Wow.
And I wanted to watch a video and get an opinion. And George Atkinson has a video on it. And the descriptor he used that made so much sense to me that stuck with me is foggy.
Yeah, I
a
can totally see that.
fogginess to the scent profile, because we all feel the
Totally.
gothic thing. Like, so I was waiting on you to say
Yeah.
gothic. It's one of
Yeah.
those types of fragrances, all black, mysterious. Yeah, it's very much that. I think that's the overall consensus from everyone that has experience with it. But
Yeah.
that foggy word, the way the kind of musky, creamy, patchouli tone is, it makes a lot of sense. I've
Yes.
always thought that was a great descriptor for that.
I agree. Yeah, that's perfect actually. When I smell this, I imagine myself in a park on a dark, foggy night, maybe even like Halloween or something. And it's kind
Yeah.
of eerie. Like I could see like Jack the Ripper coming out of the fog or some kind of silhouette, and there's a street lamp with, just like I see that vibe totally, like completely. It's really a special scent.
I always get asked about rainy day scents. I'm not one to wear certain scent profiles for a rainy day, but boy, if I could think of one, that would probably be it.
Yeah,
For a gloomy
perfect.
day, yeah,
Perfect. It's
totally.
perfect for it.
Very unique fragrance. Guys, look, it's not going to be for everyone, but if you get the opportunity to experience it, you may hate it and your cat may jump off the couch. But but if
Yes.
over time, or if you're at that point in your journey where you're starting to look for these more unique fragrances, something like that, unique's a great word for sure.
Yeah.
And so I have an appreciation for it too. I thought it was very weird the first time I smelled it. So I was like, well, I'm never going to wear this.
Yes.
And I still don't wear it that often, but I appreciate the fragrance now. It's very unique. The
Yeah, it
most
is a
unique iris
little-
fragrance that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not super iris forward.
Mhm.
It's not like obviously an iris scent the way it's blended. It's so well done.
I would have loved to try the Eau de Toilette, the frosted glass.
Yeah, and I think that may have come out after. And
It
Tom
did.
Ford has done that often. EDP first, Eau de Toilette later. But yeah, I think that one is really
Well,
tough to
supposedly we're
find.
getting Eau de Toilette ombre leather here sooner than later. That's been a rumor
Really?
all year. Yeah. A very, very reliable source. Randy watching knows exactly what I'm talking about. He heard the same thing from the same source. At the beginning of the year, I was told this, that supposedly by year's end, we're supposed to get ombre leather Eau de Toilette.
Man, they need to
I'm here
give
for
us
it if it
some.
does happen. A fresh
I'm
ombre
still
leather.
waiting on them to bring back tobacco oud and put it in the signature line. But
I
that
think
sounds
everybody
cool.
is.
Yeah, but that sounds cool. I didn't hear that. I didn't know. I'm
Mhm.
interested.
So,
Wow.
with that said, let me go ahead and get into what I deem
Yes, the final
to be,
one.
in my opinion, designer fragrance release of the year. I don't care who agrees with me. Spice Bomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. Let me adjust my
Huh.
focus. I love this fragrance. I love it, love it, love it. I sprayed it on my arm last night when I was gathering the fragrances for this live stream. This is the Eau de Toilette's big brother. You don't realize how youthful, vibrant, and playful the Eau de Toilette is until you smell the Eau de Parfum. Then it makes sense because this is much more resinous, dark, smoky. It's got a rich leather accord to it. This is I'm actually going to go ahead and spray it on my hand. Of the six that I've talked about here, this is the one that gets the spray on skin.
Wow.
So smoky. It immediately became my favorite Spice Bomb. I was very torn between the Eau de Toilette and Spice Bomb Night Vision Eau de Parfum prior. I really went back and forth on which do I think is the best, because I'm far beyond saying the extreme is the best. All the fuck boys that are looking for compliments all the time, they can, while they're dancing, spraying their cologne on. They can have Spice Bomb Extreme. Okay, those of some of you are watching.
Yes.
Very few, because
Yes.
I don't really captivate that crowd. But
Mhm.
anyways, for me, there's a maturity to this that also doesn't smell old manish. This is grown up Spice Bomb. Like if you started with the original, for example, let's say you come from the era of when the original was really hot, the late 2000s, early 2010, 2010 or something like that, when the original came out, something along those
Something
lines.
like that.
If
Yeah.
that was maybe one of your fragrances of choice during that era, and you kind of grew up with Spice Bomb, maybe it's played out for you at this point. It's just not something you gravitate to. Maybe you're tired of it. This could potentially revitalize your love for the DNA. Because one thing they are good about is always tying back to the original, and this indeed ties back to Spice Bomb. It smells like it belongs. But I think this is now the measuring stick. This is officially the bar for me, that
Okay.
everything they release beyond this point will be measured against this one as the greatness. that they can do in
Wow.
this line. That's how I feel about it. So if you like resins, smoke, and leather, big fan of that for the cooler weather. That's like me and then some. Spices, smokiness, and leather. Only thing missing is it's not a. I don't remember if tobacco's in here. It doesn't really smell heavily tobacco based. Might
Okay.
have a little bit in there, but that's the only note that I would say outside of everything I listed just screams fall and winter to me. And the performance here is not as loud as the Eau de Toilette. It does wear heavier, as the higher concentration should, but it still lasts for a very long time. And I think as you grow older, as you put yourself in more evening appropriate situations around others in intimate settings, I think the lower projection will suit your taste more. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me and you. Maybe it's just a few of us. But for me specifically, I don't want a fragrance that's going to pronounce I'm here. I want it to just kind of be the cherry on top, just a little something extra. But I do want it to last a very long time. I want to be able to smell my fragrance. I'm wearing it for me first and foremost. And I get that with the type of performance I get here. It lasts a really long time. It's not going to overwhelm anyone because I don't spray heavy in the first place with something heavy like this. But I know Spice Bomb's not necessarily your jam, but I believe, based on what I know of your taste, that this might be one that would intrigue you, Justin. I know you haven't really done a lot with the line over the last few years, but this is one that I think could make you come back. This is one that's
man. No, Spice Bomb, the original, is the one I smelled the most, and I do like it. No, I have smelled Extreme as well, and I like Extreme.
They're all
too,
good.
Yeah, they're all good. In fact, the original, I mean, it is kind of a trailblazer in terms of that type of profile, and I really appreciate that about it. I have nothing against it. I don't happen to own a single Spice Bomb fragrance, but not because I don't like them. But there's been a couple that I just didn't care for, and that's fine. But I'm curious about this now. You know, I've seen and heard several people say the same thing you did, saying like this is the best of the line.
Randy's echoing my sentiment right here, actually.
Would you say it is? You know, maybe it's hard to tell to say this, you know, unbiasedly, but would you say it is obviously a designer fragrance, or is it?
Yeah.
Is there something about it? Okay, so it
Yeah,
does
it
still
doesn't.
have this designer appeal
Yeah.
to it. Yeah. Okay.
For a designer.
Yes.
That's why I said specifically best designer release of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it the best overall release of the year because, like, prime example, this got me way more excited because of the uniqueness of it. This has a better chance of getting my vote for the release of the year because of the uniqueness coupled with quality and so on. But for a designer release, when we've got a ton of them this year, in a year where Randy, in fact, has said he's pretty underwhelmed with a lot of the releases, though I've enjoyed a lot of them. This one stands tall for me amongst all the, and we've got the bulk of the designers for the year. That's just how it goes. Spring, early, late winter, spring, early summer is like when the dominance of designer releases come. Even the stuff that's meant for the cold weather, you're going to get that late spring.
Exactly.
Which is when this came out. And I stand firmly behind this. Until further notice, I don't know. Even if they give me Spice Bomb Blue like I've been clamoring for, I don't know if it could top it. I'm dead serious. It's that good to me. Highest of marks. I haven't done a full review on it, but this would easily be a 9.5 out of 10 overall grade from me because it's the right performance. It's the right scent profile. It's not inherently designer and synthetic smelling, but it's clearly designer at the same time. Like it's a cut above, but not a big cut above.
Cool.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's got my interest. Yeah, Again, I've been hearing good things about it, and I'm like, okay, there must be something to this. The original infrared was fine. And I was like, okay, this is nice. I didn't care too much for the night vision line. I thought the EDP was better than the EDT. But both of them, I'm like, okay, cool. I think I liked infrared more than night vision line, but now I'm curious about this.
Well, most people have kind of gravitated to infrared from what I've seen. And it was one of those deals where, just like with night vision, okay, I was one of the few that really liked it because it smelled like spicy Invictus. I like Invictus. So I understood the mixed reviews, the lukewarm reception, kind of getting shit on a little bit. I understood that with Night Vision EDT. EDP came around. vast improvement across the board, from performance to scent profile to depth. Just you name it, it's 100% better in every category. So that was the standard. Okay, if you're going to make an EDP of a flanker, you're going to flanker a flanker. You've set the bar now with night vision, and they managed to do it again, where infrared EDT was already well beloved in this community, and apparently by the masses for the most part. They managed to, and look, I've seen people with the comments, oh, EDT is still way better, because maybe you like that more aromatic, sweet, playful side of it. I get it. If that's your jam, yeah, infrared EDT, it's fantastic. It's a great release. We didn't need this, but I didn't know I needed it until it came out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I get that.
It wasn't broken, didn't need to be fixed, but they were able to revamp it to really speak to me personally. So,
yeah, those are some of the best. It's when you get what you didn't know you needed. It's like, oh, how could they make it better? They did somehow.
Well, Justin, you got a few more minutes to take a couple of questions with the audience.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes for sure. Let's bring some good ones, guys. What you got?
So Victor with the $2 super chat, wearing gin tonic today. Have you tried that from Mika Leaf yet? Is it Mika Leaf or Mika Leaf? I always say Mika Leaf.
I believe it's Mika Leaf.
Mika Leaf. Okay, so I'm saying
all good. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
That is one of the better releases of the year too.
I have wanted to try that, but I have not yet.
Well, I know you typically like the gin and tonic scent profiles. I mean, hell, you're the man who put the world on 3 a.m. Yeah, let's call it what it is. You're juniper berry guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Whether you like it or not, you are. So
yeah.
But this one, funny thing is, there's no juniper, there's no tonic water accord, there's no gin accord, but it sure smells like a gin and tonic. It's crisp, slightly spiced citrus, zingy and zesty, all the things you would expect from something named gin and tonic. It was a fantastic release. They did a great job. Did you get Red Colorado by chance, the previous release? Because it's wildly different from Red Colorado.
Okay, yeah, no. Mika Leaf they've sent me a couple fragrances in the past, but since they got a new social media person, they've been quiet. So I haven't heard from them at all lately. But yeah, I know they sent you that one, and I think you really enjoyed that one, right?
Their last two releases have been stellar, because Eden Falls, not really much. I really didn't like Eden Falls. Desir Toxic's obviously phenomenal, but I didn't care for Eden Falls. I think Grace is a fan of Eden Falls, right?
Yeah, she does wear it from time to time. That one, it smells great on her. I don't really like to wear it myself either.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't smell good. Enjoys it. I just kind of have it.
Great on her. Yeah.
But the other three that I have, they just got better. Like Desir Toxic is kind of the bar. Yeah. For what to expect from the brand. That's the one that got all the hype, justified. But Red Colorado, a fantastic dry amber leather. And then gin tonic, they came with the freshness as the follow-up. They did really well. But thank you for the $2 super chat, Victor. I appreciate that.
Indeed.
So Randy says for him, it's Spice Bomb, then 1 Million Royal, then Lamal Elixir, then Boss the Scent Magnetic. So for me, my top three designers, which I agree with him, everything he listed, that's probably like my top five. So Lacoste L1212 Blanc, the O Intense that came out this year, it's actually quite good. The last 2 years, the O Fresh, not everybody liked the O Fresh. I do. But the O Intense they did this year, it's more centered around orange than grapefruit and leather.
I think I heard about that.
Oh yeah, it's really good. I just got both recently. Like I had tried already. Randy sent me a decan at the beginning of the year when it came out. But yeah, Spice Bomb Infrared Eau de Parfum, 1 Million Royal, Lamal Elixir, Boss the Scent Magnetic, I think is the best of the line. Like not every designer release deserves a lot of spotlight, but like the ones he's listed, I'm pretty much with him on that. These are some of like the best of what's come out this year for sure.
Cool.
Spice Bomb is the mall scent that they fog flowing out the doors attractor. I tried to piece that together the best I could.
The Spice Bomb is the mall scent. They fog
flowing out the doors attractor.
I think I kind of
same. I kind of get where he's going, but I don't want to depict it incorrectly. But he's
Yes.
trying to basically say it's a mall scent. It's what they're all trying to spray on you, basically.
Yes, that sounds about right.
John Carlos has just unboxed FOMO Gary's Den, which is a fragrance by fragrance. That's their new line.
Okay.
So, whoa, Beast and Dior Homme Parfum cologne or not, it's damn good. I will do a comparison to Dior Homme Parfum.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know
Yes,
they
they're
went
doing
the clone
clones.
route. I did
Yeah, they're
not
super
know that.
affordable. I haven't really looked into them. They've
Me
just been
neither.
telling me about them in the live chats.
Okay. One thing I do appreciate, I guess, about them, because you guys already know Ross and I both work with them. They have not once pushed their fragrances on me.
Larry's never brought them up. Well, I talked to Larry
Yeah.
today. He
Yeah.
literally emailed me, "Hey man, you ready to cash out affiliate
Yeah.
commissions?"
Mhm.
So it's very nice of him, just out of the blue. Hey, how's the move? He starts off with how's the move? They're very personable,
Yeah.
great company to work with.
Yeah.
Super, super fortunate to be working with them because they are like most people's favorite, if not second or third favorite place to buy fragrances. They're so
Yeah.
competitive,
Totally.
really good
Yeah.
company. So
Agreed.
Waterboy says, visiting the UK soon. Which fragrance can I get there that maybe I can't get here?
What I would recommend, and this is not even necessarily anything you can't get here, but I do know that Penhaligon's is not always easy to find and sample in the States. And there are plenty of boutiques, especially if you go to London. I know there's one down in Brighton. I've seen that one. I don't know where you're going to be, but they have boutiques there. I would try you some Penhaligon's. They got some beautiful stuff.
I can tell you firsthand, if you're stopping at the airport in London, they have a Penhaligon's boutique right next to Louis Vuitton. That was the Louis Vuitton I went in where I sprayed Ombre Nomad on my hand. So and I thought of you. I was with George. That was when we went to the UK at the beginning of the year. And I told him, I said, Justin's who's turned me on to this. Justin would love to be here right now because we were literally walking by. It was a big old boutique.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out Penhaligon's. Floris is another great British brand who has some strong roots. So I would check them out too. They probably have a boutique as well. Yeah,
I got one for you. So based on Chris being the only person doing videos on it right now, if you want to try the new Boss Bottle Elixir,
I just saw his
that's
video.
not here yet. I don't want to know his opinion because I value his opinion. Anybody who I care what they think, I don't want to watch what they have to say if it's a fragrance I know I'm going to get.
Exactly.
So
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
So I've been avoiding his all of his content like the plague because that's all he's been talking about, his Instagram reels and his stories, everything. So I would suggest if you're interested in the Boss Bottled Elixir flanker that literally just dropped over there, that's something you can't get here right now for God knows how long.
Yeah, that's true.
Fantastic live chat. Josh, the owner of Copper Still Fragrance, $5 super chat. Thanks for the honorable mention, Ross. If Justin is interested, I can send him a 50 ml of Watermelon Shine. So if you're interested in this, Josh would love to send one your way, my man.
Well, thank you, Josh. If you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram and let's chat. And I appreciate it.
It's to the point to where I at least had to do it as an honorable mention. I think it's worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I literally just got it. Like we did a live stream 2 days ago. My last live stream was about it. So
for sure.
I wore it yesterday for the first time. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Josh. Have either of you guys had your noses on Argos Nemean Lion? I have not.
Not yet. Yeah, there's been some stock issues with it. I know that early on when they were about to release it, they lost a whole batch of it because it went bad in transit with heat or something like that. So they had to start over, and then it's just been an uphill battle ever since. And it's been out of stock. They did sell some, but maybe not to the US. They sold what little they had maybe across overseas, but it is coming back from what I hear, and we will be trying it soon, and I think it'll be perfect for the upcoming fall and winter. So
I haven't gotten my nose on it either, but Justin, firsthand, Christian's very meticulous and particular about his maceration process. Out of light, certain room temperature.
Yes,
they don't see any light for however many months.
Yes, and he'll let it sit for 2 years. Oftentimes.
So this batch that's coming out has been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's coming. Can't wait.
Justin, have you tried that Habit Rouge Privé? I love it. What do you think in comparison to the original?
Haven't tried it yet. The times I've almost gotten it, it's been out of stock. So I have yet to check it out, but I hear great things. So I definitely want to check it out.
John, indeed, we are currently live. Taking questions
live,
right
John.
now. So if you have anything you'd like to ask either of us or both of us, now's the time for sure. Sean with $5 super chat, I appreciate you. Marshud 4 White by Itiab Al. I'm butchering this.
Yeah. All these Middle Eastern names are tough.
Oud Saffron Cardamom Freshie, worth checking out. So you just wanted to throw a recommendation our way, basically. Marshud number 4 White is the name of the fragrance. Okay. So yeah, I've never heard of this brand or this fragrance, Sean. If you don't mind, Sean, message me the name of it on IG so I don't forget. That way I have it in a message. That way if I'm like, what was that fragrance Sean was talking about? I can reference the message. So, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Le Beau Le Parfum?
Haven't smelled it. Yeah, I know you have that one, right?
Right
here. It's on the on deck table.
It is on deck for tomorrow. I'm planning on wearing it tomorrow. This was one of the best releases of last year. This was one of my favorites. I went through about half of a 10 ml decant before I ended up getting a bottle because bottles were scarce. They're still scarce, still not easy to find. Very tropical sweet fragrance, coconut, pineapple, fresh green, almost minty like cypress. The iris here is more on the soapy side, with some powdery sweet tonka bean.
Yeah, didn't it win an award? It won like
the original did for packaging.
Oh, okay, it was the
2019 release Le Beau Eau de Toilette won packaging of the year for 2022. Makes sense. That's when Zaharoff and Curly Sense got robbed of the Immortals being nominated in the same category. That is something that was released 3 years prior, won for packaging of the year. So.
That's crazy.
You know what? I do like the Le Beau bottles more than the
great
bottles.
I agree. I love the updated design. It's really
it's a more sleek look.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. But yeah, it's a beautiful fragrance for sure.
I need to try it.
No question. Just want to say thank you, Justin, for bringing class and sophistication to Fragcom. #salute.
Thank you, Jason. Always appreciate your support, man. And we both got the white tee on. At least you have it in your picture.
Yeah, Jason's a good dude, man. So here's a fun one. $2 super chat from Victor. Would you collab with Gent Sense? Here's a fun one. So Ashton and I are not friends in any way, shape, or form or sense of the word and meaning. Have nothing against the man. I wish him tons of success. We're just not, don't really talk. We're not friends. We don't do anything together. He does his thing. I do my thing. Again, no ill will towards him. That's definitely not in the plans. But I do never say never. How about that? I never say never because there's people that I'm friends with now that I never thought I would be friends with in this space. So you never know. A real conversation with somebody could go a long way. So you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair to say, huh?
Totally. Yeah. I'm open to it. It. I mean, I don't know exactly what that would look like. And if he hit me up saying, hey, you want to collab? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah. Again, I don't have anything against him either. So yeah, sure. The answer is yes, Victor.
Yeah. A real conversation can go a long way for all parties involved. You know, you never know. So I'll say never say never. That's what I'll say. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Some people just went when that popped up, went, oh, drama.
Oh, yes.
No drama.
Viewers just spiked. The numbers went way up. Right?
Yeah, no, it really So I'm with Lacoste Pour Homme now. That's an excellent choice. Made by my very dear friend Claude Deere. Basically like Boozy Boss bottled. It's kind of the way I've always looked at that one.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful plum note from what I remember.
A little boozy, plum, sandalwood.
Yeah. Haven't smelled it in a long time, but I remember that one had a little bit of hype some years ago.
It did for a while, about a handful of years ago.
Jeremy was talking about it for a minute, and I remember people were talking about it as a result.
So Uncle Box says, sorry to bring up a cheapie right now. No reason to apologize. Any thoughts on Hugo Boss Man Extreme? I have that one. I haven't worn it in a long time. Are you familiar with it?
I can't even see what that
So the
bottle looks
canteen
like right
style
now.
bottle.
Okay.
But the extreme flanker.
I don't think I've smelled any of those in that collection.
I got a bunch of them. So with that one, it's inherently dense and green. It's very much based around a cypress note from what I remember. It's been a few years since I've sprayed it. It's a heavy green that I think is ideal for the fall season from what I remember about it. That's probably the last time that I spent time with it. I have to revisit that to really, I guess, go a little further, but that's what I remember of it. It's been at least 2 years since the last time I've sprayed that fragrance. It's been a while.
Okay.
Thoughts, opinion on CK Defy Eau de Parfum JC? I haven't seen reviews on it from Average Joe.
I have not smelled it. I've smelled not the Eau de Toilette nor the EDP. Frankly, it was a fragrance that didn't interest me. It kind of seemed like it was just going to be another
basic
fresh masculine scent. If it's not that, then I would be thrilled. Well, yeah, there you go.
So this one, the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, they smell nothing alike. So the Eau de Toilette is basically woody, non-aldehydic Y Eau de Toilette. Take the aldehydes away, add a stronger woody presence in the base, you have Defy Eau de Toilette. So it basically smells like Y.
Great.
The Eau de Parfum, orange, pepper, leather accord. That simple. Spicy orange dries into a soft leather suede.
Interesting.
It's that simple. They have a parfum that's releasing that the note breakdown looks like it's going to be wildly different from the previous two as well. So they're just like picking a fragrance to sell and saying, put it in the Defy line.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, put it in that bottle. We'll darken it.
That's what I think they did with Polo Red Parfum. They just said, we like this. We think this would sell. Put it in the Polo Red line. Call it Parfum. Parfum's hip right now.
That is amazing. Yes. The Defy EDP sounds like a watered down declaration.
I'm not familiar enough with declaration, but yeah, it's orange black pepper, and like a mandarin orange, I think. Black pepper, and then they have a leather accord and a suede accord. That's literally the entire note breakdown.
Interesting.
And it smells just as I read it. You get a peppery orange and then dries into leather.
I mean, it sounds better than the EDT.
It's very nice. If you want a year-round, fresher, soft leather fragrance, it is good. It's not phenomenal, but it is a good scent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might have to check that out. And then the Parfum sounds interesting.
I haven't tried the Parfum yet. That's the one I don't have.
Cacao and lavender and
so you're looking at the notes. Yeah, it's nothing like the other two.
What are they doing?
Anything and everything.
Like what?
Yeah.
What is this?
I think this would sell. Put it in a Defy bottle and call it Parfum.
That is crazy. Give us some cohesiveness, guys. They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
That's the flankers that I don't have respect for, because that's a true cash grab, guys. When they're like, there was success with the first one, just call it that. I like when they tie. That's why I like stuff like this. All of them smell like some form of spice bomb. Aqua de Joe, all of them smell like Aqua de Joe. Just with twists and adjustments. That's what a real flanker is.
What in the
Brass
world?
and Soul. Second Soul smells like a flanker of Brass and Soul.
That's what we were going for.
So good to see you, Rob.
I probably got 10 minutes, I'd say.
Well, we'll take a few more. You mentioned Aqua Antique in a recent video as your first. That was actually my first full review. Is it redundant to own if you already have Dylan Blue? Yes. Very much.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
That smells like Aquaporum mixed with Dylan Blue. The original for that line plus Dylan Blue, you get Aqua Atlantique.
Yeah,
it's literally that simple.
Yeah, I think Aqua Atlantique, it's nice. I think it really got its hype because of its performance. I think people were like putting that way above what it actually smelled like.
I love how it smells, though.
Yeah, I mean, it smells good, but I think if it was an average performer, it would not have got the hype it got, because otherwise it would just be another blue scent. But it's a blue scent that performs better than just about all of them. So people are like, oh my God,
it's a beast.
Going crazy about it. But it's like, Would y'all have gone crazy for that scent profile if it was a
5
6-hour
hour
fragrance? Yeah. Come on
No.
now.
How's it perform, bro? Come on, bro.
Yes.
How long does it
Yes.
last, bro? So.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, that's a whole, we talked about, I was going to say that's a whole nother topic, but
That's
we already
like every
talked
other
about
live
it.
stream with us.
I know. It's so funny when I see comments of people like, hey, has anyone tried this fragrance? How does it perform? And I'm like, so what if it smells like poop?
Day.
Yeah, what if it smells like poop and it lasts 18 hours? It's an extreme dumb example. Right there. Anyway, moving on.
Smelling like a beast mode turd. So what would you say are the best beginner niche fragrances? Here's a good one. There's a lot of ways we can go with this.
Yes, that is. It really kind of depends on how you want to define niche. And I've been talking about that in videos lately with a bit of pushback. You know, my definition of niche has evolved over the years. When I started, it was just like anyone else's definition, which is like, oh, these brands only make fragrances, therefore everything they make is niche. And then I started to like, okay, let me smell the Parfum de Marly Percival. Does that smell niche? No, mainstream. It smells great. It smells great. It smells like a high quality mainstream luxury scent. But that's not niche to me. That's just, it doesn't make it bad. It's just not niche. It's just, anyway, whatever. So I know there's people who would say, oh yeah, go for Leighton, go for, you know, whatever. Like all these, the go-to niche brands is like the beginner scents. And I'm like, those are like top tier mainstream scents. It's like, if you think of the ladder, so to speak, and it doesn't have to be niches higher than designer or mainstream. That's not what I'm saying. But if I'll just turn it on its side, it's like you get to the highest point of mainstream and you have those brands. But to me, this is going to sound bad and I don't mean it to, but that's the lowest point of niche because it's simply just not niche. Again, they're not bad scents, but they're not what I would consider niche. Now, if I were to answer that question from my perspective, which, you know, maybe wouldn't jive with everybody and maybe my recommendations wouldn't all be welcomed. But first thing I'll say is if you're going to delve into niche as a beginner, you got to start with decant. So don't run out here blind buying bottles as a niche beginner. So fragrances, I would say to sample Ganymede. Sample Ganymede.
Yeah, don't buy that.
Yeah, the point of getting into niche fragrances is you are now looking to expand what you perceive as possible with perfumery, which means that you may not necessarily be finding fragrances you love. You might find ones that you find super interesting. You're like, man, I've never smelled this before. Like, I don't even know what to think of this. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I would wear it. Just that experience alone is magic. Now you are broadening your reality. And now that's how you like come back to fragrances years later and be like, man, I hated this before. Now I love it. What happened? It's when you start smelling stuff that makes you scratch your head. So I wouldn't recommend like you need to go get these fragrances and wear them functionally. I would say if you're going to get into niche, I'm going to give you some ideas of things to sample to expand yourself. And it's not going to be like, again, they may not be loves, but that's the first step. So I would say Ganymede is a great one.
90% of what he's categorizing is going to be a situational fragrance.
Yes.
The stuff, I totally agree with the way you're contexting niche right now because it is a targeted term. It's much more targeted. It's not just because they only make fragrances, which I had that thinking at one time too. It's much more targeted crowd. It's more storytelling, artistic. And it's not something that's going to speak to you, be like, oh, I can just wear this every day. Most of the time, that's not going to be the case. That's why I say 90% of it, get ready for much more situational fragrance wearings if you're going to dive into niche.
Yeah.
If you're thinking, I'm going to buy this $300 fragrance and I spent $300, I'm going to wear it every day. You might get tired of that every day. It's not necessarily, most of these aren't, whereas that's where the high level mainstream comes in, like he's talking about. The stuff that is higher quality that is great for every day. Your Manceras and stuff like that. Parfum de Marly and so on.
I agree. Yeah, well said. So yeah, don't jump in the niche with a functional mindset just yet. Just jump in with an explorative mindset. Like I'm going to put these on my hand and I'm going to sit with them. That is how it starts. It can't be like, okay, got it, wear it. out to work. Like, wait a minute. You might regret that.
There's
You
a real
might regret
possibility.
it. So you just, you
Someone
got to
smells like a wet cat. What the hell is that? You
exactly.
start running into stuff like that. There's no guarantees but that the potential goes up greatly in those situations.
Exactly. So yeah, while you're trying your niche samples, still wear your designers and mainstream stuff to work, wear it out to the world, wear that functional stuff, still wear what you enjoy, what you know is not going to really, rock the boat. And then in your own in your own private time, give those private sprays and discover some stuff. And then just watch things unfold. You'll be surprised. Like, you know what? I want to wear that weird fragrance today. I think I like it now. I've tried it like 3 times and let's give it a try. And then you never know. Like, that's how it just naturally unfolds. You don't want to just make yourself wear niche fragrances, even beginner ones, whatever that truly means, because you can define that so many ways. But there's no rush. There's never a hurry with this stuff.
Because even expensive stuff like Maison Francis Kirkjohn, that's mainstream. That's popular. That's Neiman Marcus top sellers. You know what I mean? That's hype
for
beasts.
Sure. Yeah. And I say this all the time, and people are like, bro, you're dumb. What do you mean? But I truly stand behind this.
Bruh.
I believe every brand, not every brand, any brand has the ability to produce mainstream and niche fragrances. They all do. Gucci Guilty Absolute is not a mainstream fragrance. That is a niche fragrance from a designer brand, right? Percival, that's
they
a mainstream
do a lot of
fragrance
stuff that I would
niche
consider
brand.
On the niche side. Even the cologne flanker to Gucci Guilty, that is such a polarizing scent.
Since they got that new creative director, they've kind of pivoted and they got
they've kind of carved out their own little spot in the designer realm, really, because they don't follow it. They don't follow trends too often. I'm surprised they have an elixir coming in that line.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
We'll see what it smells like. It'll probably be
Iris
its own thing.
Iris is a trend right now too. So that's they are following a trend right there.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm giving them, I said it in my live stream, I give them the benefit of the doubt because of their track record.
Yes. Yeah. And
so
they
Gucci
got
was
Alberto,
a great example. I'm glad you brought them up.
Yeah, Alberto's doing his thing with them, and yeah, we know he is versatile with what he can create. So that's just me. I go by fragrance by fragrance basis with how I choose to kind of characterize mainstream versus niche, whatever you want to say.
So Stephen, with the 5, is that 5 pounds?
That's the euros.
Okay, so I'm not. I apologize. That's why I asked. I assumed you might know. I wasn't sure. 5 euros super chat. I appreciate that, Stephen.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Atrium?
More than $5. Just a little.
Even better. I haven't tried Mr. Maritime yet, so I have. My wife. By the way, guys, for those of you that I told you my wife was going to end up loving Mr. Romantic. She does love Mr. Romantic. It's phenomenal. Justin, I didn't see your opinions on this because I know you got to it before I did. Do you get Code meets La Nuit de l'Homme, but higher quality?
Yes. In fact, I think I literally said that in the video. I know I said Code. I don't know if I said La Nuit, but I did say Code. I may have even said like Prada. I may have even said Luna Rossa Black or something like that, but that's the vibe for sure.
So we're definitely on the same wavelength thing. Because I said Code meets La Nuit de l'Homme, but higher quality. Okay. Like it doesn't smell like mainstream designer quality. It smells a cut above. Sure. I gave Omar all the props. I think he's doing it right. The price is right. It's a sleek presentation. It's nothing spectacular. So his overhead's not crazy. So he could really focus on the perfume.
Yeah.
I think this was a great release. Heidi loves this fragrance. But point being, I said I was going to buy Mr. Maritime because I saw we looked at all the fragrances on the live stream. And I was like, I'm buying that. I haven't bought it yet. I bought a bunch of other stuff, but I will be buying it in the coming weeks. But I apologize. I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah. I did one wearing of it of Mr. Roman, and I did a couple test sprays. And I'm saving it really for the fall because to me, I mean, it wears like those other fragrances. Like this is date night. This is a little bit chilly weather.
70 degrees or lower.
Yeah. And so I'm waiting on that to really give it some more sprays. I just did that first impression. And it was good. I think it was
wore it that
positive. Night. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a positive first impression. It wasn't like I didn't truly share like this is how I feel about it because I was just spraying it for the first time. I just said what it smelled like to me. So I'll come back later with my actual opinion when I get to wear it.
Okay, so let me scroll down a little bit. So here we go, Fragrance Fraternity. Great newer content creator. For those of you that haven't checked him out, definitely check his channel out. Also one of the channel members, and I love when he does this. He DJs. He's always got gigs, and like here he's got a date night, a first date going tonight. He always asks, and he knows how I like my questions. Give me what you're debating on, and I'll tell you what I would do. And so I love when he hits me with these, because these are like, this is my jam when it comes to questions. So he says, hey, fellas, wearing Moschino Uomo today, which I recommended he get. So appreciate the trust. He was wanting something out the norm from the 90s. Here you go, 22 bucks. Inherently 90s, but different from all the other 90s fragrances.
For sure.
So today, thanks for the recommendation, Ross. Yeah, absolutely. First date tonight, outdoor, approximately 65 degrees. Dior Homme 2020, Le Male Le Parfum, Ralph's Club Parfum, Mont Blanc Legend Night, or La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Interesting choices.
Well, for me, unfortunately, I've truly worn 2 of these fragrances, but I've tried one other, but not in Legend Night. I have checked it out. But I still haven't tried Le Male Le Parfum, if you can believe it. I've actually tried to get it several times from Fragrance Buy, and they've had to shut it down because, like, and Ralph's Club,
they said they
know that's
blow
brand
through
new
bottles of that.
Yeah, exactly. And Ralph's Club is new.
Ralph's Club's last year.
Oh, the elixirs.
The elixirs.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried. I think I've tried the EDT, the first one. And I was like, So I need to try the others. For me,
the EDT is the worst one. Like, it's not bad, but if I had to pick my favorite, that's number 3 of the 3.
Okay.
The other 2, the Parfum's the most wearable, and Elixir's the most interesting because it's an earthy iris, smoky fragrance.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. But yeah, I mean, again, my opinion is limited here. So for that situation, based on what I've tried, based on the temperature and the setting, I would do Blue Electrique. Just the vibe of that is great. But again, I can't speak to the others. I love Dior Homme 2020, but to me, that's not a 65-degree kind of scent, nighttime breezy scent. That's a little bit more warmth in the air, and it can carry a little bit more and has a sexiness that comes out with the musks. But I mean, first thing I'll say, most important thing is like whatever one you like most. I'll wear that one because they're all great. They all smell great. People are going to dig them. So it sounds like you're looking for like, what do I want my vibe to be? Which means like you want to like your vibe. So pick the one you like the most. And that might change from today to tomorrow. So today it could be one of them. Tomorrow could be a different one. But that's a lot of choices. That's tough. Sometimes I struggle to select, but I won't only allow myself to choose between 2, max 3. I cannot sit there and consider 5 scents. Otherwise I'll be there for an hour trying to be like, well,
I think the variety
coming out,
the variety is more for me and you in the question. I don't think he's probably looking at 2 or 3 of these. I think he just does that to kind of expand and give more variety, just in case, to hear what we're going to say. Based on him doing this previously with me, I think that's kind of the case. I don't think he's genuinely choosing between all of them, because some of these are very much my taste. Prime example, a lot of you might be expecting Le Male Le Parfum from me, which, sure, why the hell not? But anybody that watches me on a regular basis, sees my date night fragrances, and hears me talk about the preferred taste for myself and my wife for what I wear in the evenings, 99% of the time I'm going to gravitate to the La Nuit de l'Homme flanker, no matter which one it is. It's something about that base profile, especially one that ties so closely to the original profile, like Blue Electrique, that it just, my wife goes gaga over it. That's never going to change. And I mean, it's not like she's some young spry chicken. She's 47. You know what I mean? She's not some, 25-year-old. So even the not so young ladies dig that scent profile, guys. So my wife absolutely loves it. So for me in this situation, I'm going Blue Electrique. Of these choices, the close second would be Le Male Le Parfum. Though again, just like Justin said, you can't go wrong with any of them. Dior Homme 2020, honestly, would be the the last choice for me. Only reason is I think that's such a better daytime scent. But in the event that somebody, say, doesn't have all these choices like the three of us do, him and you and I, yeah, it absolutely would work on a date night. You can totally pull that off for just about pretty much everything. But given more specific fragrances that do the job better, it's the worst option in my opinion, because you got much better options available to you here with these choices. But I'm with Justin. Blue Electrique for me. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many more you want to take, Justin? I know you got to get going because I'm going to try to look for some really good ones.
Yeah, I'm a little over time. I got time for one more.
One more. Okay, let me do a little scrolling because we're pretty far behind. I got to catch this super chat real quick, though. $2 super chat. Any thoughts on Zara? Some interesting new releases. I don't have any. I haven't smelled not one Zara fragrance.
Me neither. Well, I've smelled them in store. Like they have them in, like when you're waiting in line to check out, they'll just have them sitting right there. And I've sprayed a couple and I'm like, they haven't really caught my nose yet. So I'm not sure. I've never blind bought one. I probably never will. But yeah, I know people dig them.
Yeah, so I apologize. Thank you for the super chat. We just unfortunately can't weigh in on anything because neither of us really have all that much to offer. Him more than me because I've never even smelled anything from the brand. Victor with another $5 super chat. I appreciate you, man. Love the scent of root beer I've seen as Cosmorati 1888 and Code Absolute are root beer-esque. Any chance you know any root beer fragrances and thoughts on the two? So we'll let this be the final one because this is a pretty loaded question here.
Okay. So I would say out of those two, Code Absolute and even Code
Profumo.
Profumo. I was going to say
that's
Parfumo.
The real root beer one.
Yeah, that's more root beer-esque than Absolute, but I can see a little bit of that with Absolute. 1888, I do have it. I never really thought of it as a root beer scent. Now that you're saying that, I can kind of see it. There is this kind of warm, ambery feel to this very like spicy, masculine floral scent that it is. It's a carnation fragrance. But there is this ambery warmth that's a little sweet. I could see that being twisted into root beer, but not really. So I wouldn't say 1888 is root beer forward. Like root beer is a note. But Absolute, I could kind of see that. Yeah. Absolute, I could kind of see that. And I don't know of really any others that stand out to me outside of Profumo from the Code line.
So that's my answer is Armani Code Profumo, because for me, if you're looking for that accord, that's the ultimate. It's powdery leather, almost a little chocolatey with root beer. That's the way it's always come across to me. It's a phenomenal performer. I think it's discontinued now.
It is, yeah.
I mean, every 2 to 3 years, they have, 10 new code versions.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised. But until the Eau de Parfum came out, it was my favorite version. Still number 2 for me, even over the Parfum, the Iris one, believe it or not, guys. But I would say if you're getting root beer from Code Absolute, which is a vanilla tonka bean bomb, like to the point to where it's so much that it's a little cloying for me personally that I don't. It's actually my least favorite code. I would encourage you, while you can still get them for a pretty good price, to maybe, because you'd have to blind buy it, unfortunately, because I think it's discontinued, so testers aren't sitting on counters anywhere.
Yeah.
But Code Profumo, if you're really looking for that and you've got a little taste of it with the Absolute, Code Profumo is the fragrance you're looking for, man.
Yep. Yeah, if you want root beer, A&W, Code Profumo.
Mug, Barks, doesn't matter. Get a little bit of all of them. So, man, I appreciate the $5 super chat. So that's going to be the last one we're going to be able to take today, guys.
Yeah.
Justin, I greatly appreciate you doing this with me, man. I love when we get together and do these live streams. Very candid.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. It was good to be able to share some recent favorites and some off-the-wall choices, and hopefully, just continue to give you guys, the viewers, just some recommendations you're not seeing elsewhere, and some different stuff to check out. Keep this exploration train rolling in the fragrance world. That's what we want people to keep trying new stuff. There's so much cool new stuff that keeps coming out, and even old stuff to come back to. So
an ever expanding hobby, that is for sure. Who would have thought in today's day and age, or growing up, for example, that liking perfumes could be a hobby, a vast global hobby with a real community to have a conversation with about it. You know, it's kind of crazy to think about. If I could tell 15-year-old me it gets better, you can, because it's kind of secretive long before the internet community, where it kind of comes across like it's kind of girly hobby. You know what I mean? Like, I really like fragrances and all that. That's the thought process for most.
Unfortunately, it is paired with beauty and cosmetics, but people don't think of fragrance as art until you learn that it's made by artists.
It is indeed.
So there you go.
So Justin, before I let you go, anything exciting going on for the weekend? Any big plans or anything? Any gigs?
I just had a great gig last night. It was my first public performance in 4 years where I put a band together to play my own original music. And it was so much fun. And we played this beautiful rooftop at sunset. And it was real kind of swanky, classy. And we were the featured artists. So people were there with their beverages, with their food, just listening to the music. And it was a lot of fun. And yeah, because it's been so long since I did that, that really kind of has me on a bit of a high. So no gigs coming up until maybe next weekend, honestly. And this weekend we're chilling. It's going to be warm, pretty hot, probably not as hot as it is for you, I'm sure. But yeah, pretty low key weekend here.
Yeah, same for me. So what I was going to do yesterday, so Amazon decided to drop my stuff off at the front office, and I didn't realize that till after the office had closed. So the stuff I was going to do yesterday, I have to do this evening after this live stream, so I can finally finish getting this room organized to do the collection video and all. So my evening's going to be pretty busy, but as far as the weekend, should be pretty laid back. I'm going to do some stuff with the wife. We haven't made specific plans yet. But awesome. Turner says, definitely a feminine hobby, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck, though. I love my fragrances. That's the energy right there. That's the kind of energy I'm talking about.
I mean, yeah, I just think it's a hobby at this point. After 7 years, I just see it as another hobby. Who doesn't want to smell great? Like,
I'll be that cologne guy in the family and the circle and everything. I don't care. I actually enjoy it. So thank you so much for doing this, Justin. Thank you to everybody that came hang out with us. Thank you to everybody for the super chats. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. If for some reason you haven't subscribed to Justin Copeland, his channel link is pinned at the top of the chat as well as tagged in the top of the video description box. Make sure to subscribe to Justin Copeland for some very intellectual-based fragrance content to really make you think and not just buy all the time. And I didn't mean to sound like NSYNC. It just kind of worked out. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one.
See you everyone.